Hey viewers, it's Untitled 2009, and I'm finally back with another Thomas & Friends Bluebird video. So, in my previous two Bluebird videos, I've already talked about the narrow gauge engines, and in my recent video, I took a look at some of the characters from the Railway series, including this awesome boy right here. He is my favorite Bluebird custom, hands down. Alfred the B-12. But what Bluebird characters am I going to be talking about today, you may ask? Well, if you read by the title of the video and you saw these guys right here, yeah. We are of course going to be talking about Thomas's 2D animated reboot series, All Engines Go. Yes, we all know the history with Thomas the Tank Engine. He started off as the classic model series Thomas that we all know and love, and we still love today. But then things started to change, as seasons 1 through 5 were pretty amazing. The world building is spot on with the Railway series books. The characters are endearing. Everything was pretty consistent since the island of Sodor was a place in England which we can visit. Though Thomas recently had started to take a decrease in quality. So a lot of people say that the CGI series is what ruined Thomas and Friends for them. Most people say that seasons 8, like the hit entertainment era, is what started the downfall. And most people say that Thomas and the Magic Railroad is what actually ruined the franchise. So, but my question is, the question for me is, which one do I think ruined the franchise? What is the one thing that I think was Thomas's downfall? Is it CGI, Season 8, or Magic Railroad? I personally believe that Season 8 is what started Thomas's downfall, if I'm being honest, because, let's be honest. It took a new turn, it ruined the classic characters we knew and loved, especially Emily here. I hate what they did to her character personality in Season 8 onwards. Well, not onwards, but you know what I mean. And while, yes, Thomas and the Magic Railroad was a bad movie in most people's opinions, even though I love it, for reasons, they say that this is what started Thomas's downfall, but I do not believe that to be the case. While yes, this movie did ruin Thomas's reputation going forward, but it's not canon to the actual series of Thomas and Friends. So let me ask you this. If you say that Thomas and the Magic Railroad is Thomas's downfall, why do seasons 6 and 7 have great writing and great characters, huh? Because they still had the right to Thomas. Ghislaine Entertainment is what bought out season 6 or 7 of Thomas and Friends. And the episodes were still 4 minutes long. And they completely ignore everything that happens in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. You don't see any characters return from that movie, like Lady and Diesel 10. They do not mention Gold Dust. And the island of Sodor is not a magical fantasy world that you have to travel through by just gold dust. It is still a place in England that you can visit. So at least they got a quality out of season 6 through 7, but season 8 is where I started to decline Thomas and Friends. This is what really ruined Thomas for me. If you hear noise in the background, just ignore it. But anyways, then I think things gotten worse ever since, the hit entertainment era. If you don't know what I mean, they keep adding these new pointless characters who are just made to sell merchandise. With, of course, a few exceptions. I love these 3 because they made it to the CGI era, but that's not what I'm talking about. And CGI came into the picture and ruined everything. They got rid of the model trains, they got rid of all the classic Thomas stuff, and they completely ruined the characters' faces and still flanderized them. Now, don't get me wrong, I personally don't think the CGI series is all that bad. Andrew Brenner himself came back to the picture and rewritten Thomas and Friends to contain all the classic writing and bring all the characters back to their old personalities, even adding older characters like Duck, Terrence, Bertie. Not Bertie, he still exists, but he brought back Duck, Oliver, Terrence, Don Douglas, including the miniature railway engines like Rex over here. So you would think that everything would be going well, right? Well, no, because Big World Big Adventures came along and killed the entire franchise. And Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends was officially dead. Enter All Engines Go. Ever since Big World Big Adventures came out, Thomas has become nothing more than a marketing stunt. And this reboot exists just so Mattel can make money and cash in on other popular kids shows, like modern children's shows that mean nothing, like Camp Coral. And basically every other reboot. But, so what made me into All Engines Go? Well, I honestly think that All Engines Go is a little bit better than Big World Big Adventures, because, like, at least they're not replacing any characters with females, but I do think things have gotten worse since then. Like, all the engines are anthropomorphic and wacky. Like, there's just a bunch of, like, jumping around the tracks and stuff, and this is our new main cast, which is a complete downgrade to what we actually had. Like, we had the whole Steam team. We had Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, and the new Emily. And it pretty much stayed that way until Big World Big Adventures ruined it all. And basically, James, Emily, and Gordon are now side characters rather than main characters. Even Toby, Edward, and Henry. Though Toby hasn't appeared yet in the series, but he will pretty soon. So, here are all the 10 characters I did make in All Engines Go. I was originally going to make just Thomas himself and no one else, but I still got inspired by something. Like, basically people kept commenting to make characters like James, Carly, Sandy, Percy, and Kana, and I just couldn't resist, so I had to make them. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about all these All Engines Go engines from worst to best. But first, we have Thomas, Percy, Nia, Kana, Diesel, Bruno, James the Red Engine, everyone's favorite, Harold the Helicopter, Carly, and Sandy. And I'm going to be talking about all these guys from worst to best in my opinion. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into it. Obviously, we're going to start with the most notorious character who I hate in All Engines Go, created by Mattel Creations, by the way. Yes, they are responsible for Big World Big Adventures and creating all these new pointless international engines. And bring in the most disgraceful, disgusting, and despicable character in the entire show, Nia. Now, I'm also glad Rebecca is not in the show, but seriously, I hope Rebecca never appears again. But anyways, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nia, the African orange tank engine thing. She apparently exists. Now, if you do like Nia, I do respect your opinion. Because, like, I know most people are going to like Nia either way. But I still am not a fan of Nia. And if you're new to the channel, you don't know why I hate Nia. Well, if you have seen Big World Big Adventures, you might have recognized that she kicked out Edward from the Steam team. And Rebecca kicked out Henry from the Steam team. Which is a huge disgrace, considering that Edward is the first character who Reverend Audrey created, and Edward is what started the Railway series and Thomas and Friends as a whole. So you can imagine what I felt when they booted out Edward in his shed for Edward, and replaced him with this tissue box on wheels. Did I just seriously make a Train Boy reference? Oh my gosh. But anyways, yeah. Nia, you are the worst character. And Edward, do you care to do the honors? Thank you, Edward. Now we move on to what I consider the weirdest character in All Engines Go, Carly. I hate what they did to Carly here. Carly was originally a gantry crane in Season 21, new crane on the dock, and they even brought back Big Mickey from Tugs, which I love. However, everything changed when they made Carly a crane on wheels. You had Harvey the Crane Engine, as Trainboy17 said, so why'd you turn Carly into a train instead? I'm honestly glad they didn't give Cranky the same treatment that Carly did. I hope that one day they'll bring back Big Mickey and not make him into a crane on wheels. Because that's basically what Carly is. She is Cranky the Crane on wheels. Then we have the cute and adorable Sandy. No, not Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm talking about Sandy, the little rail speeder from Thomas and Friends All Engines Go. Now, Sandy, in my opinion, is a pretty cute character. Like, I did actually try to put as much detail in. Sorry if the camera isn't zooming in, but yeah, I don't know what there is to say about Sandy. She's just a little cute character. Nothing too special, but we can't have Carly without Sandy. And then we bring in Harold the helicopter. So what do I think about Harold's new design? Well, I'm not a huge fan of his face. I'm not. Like, I think the reason why they changed Harold's face is because they wanted him to look less creepier than he was. Like, but seriously, I don't think any of the Thomas and Friends faces look creepy. Even if you have to change them to make them less creepy, which you shouldn't do in the first place, because the face is already fine as they are. Even James had a gorgeous face, but you had to ruin it with CGI. Don't worry, we will get back to James later, but yeah, Harold is just Harold. He's pretty awesome. I like Harold. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. Alright, now, then we have, of course, everyone's favorite shiny red engine, James the Red Engine. He's so awesome. So, I'm actually happy that they brought back James in the reboot as well. But one thing Trevor Davis says is that bringing back old characters in the reboot isn't making the reboot any better. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like James the Red Engine. He's pretty nice. I mean, I don't know what there's to say about James. We all know who James is. He's shiny and red. Yeah. Not as shiny as this James over here. Like, this will always be my favorite version of the Bluebird James, hands down. Then we have Thomas the Tank Engine. I almost forgot about him. So, yeah, I hate Thomas's new design in this reboot. Well, not everything about his design. I mean, it is weird that he has two whistles, like, separating from each other. All these trains have no side rods, which is pretty strange, because, like, don't you know what happens to a train if it doesn't have side rods? It can't move. But apparently, laws and physics don't matter in Thomas and Friends anymore, and now he can just break the fourth wall and stuff, and not in a good way either. So yeah. And of course, you can imagine, I don't like the dipped running board, which is something that Audrey should not have done to Thomas in the first place. Like, I understand he wanted Thomas as a J50, but hey, I like Thomas more as an E2 class tank engine. I like him more as an E2 than a J50, so I don't understand why Audrey would give Thomas a flat running board after Thomas comes to breakfast. Like, I don't know what he has against Thomas being an E2, but I do respect his opinions, personally. And hey, if you like this style of running board, I respect your opinion. Okay, we have 4 more, so we don't talk about Bruno. No. I stopped making references to stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so here's Bruno the Break Car. Okay, I'm just glad that they acknowledge brake fans' existence in the show, because, like, brake fans are very important, and I don't know why they forgot them in the Nitrogen Studios era. Like, come on, brake fans are important, because if you have a brake fan, you'll brake easier and you won't come off the tracks. Just like that. Anyways. So here's Bruno the Break Car. I think he's one of my favorite models I've ever made in All Engines Go. Like, he looks like an American-style caboose, and he has autism! This is the second character of Thomas' Friends who has autism. Okay, one thing I do hate about Mattel, this really aggravates me and a lot of other people. They're stopping supporting people with autism. Like, they quit supporting people with autism. And, like, in Day Out with Thomas, they're not allowing anyone with autism in there. Which is stupid in the first place, so if you are stopping autism, then why did you introduce Theo and Bruno, 2 autistic train characters, even if one of them is just a piece of rolling stock who doesn't move? Or heck, he does move in All Engines Go, because, like, I think they might have gotten inspiration from Medieval Misadventures, where the trucks have this powerful moving ability with gold dust and stuff. If you haven't seen Medieval Misadventures, I think you should watch it. It's pretty nice. Made by Popular Paxton. Subscribe to him. I mean, he does have a coupling on the back, and you can hook him up to any other train if you want. Alright, 3 more. Now we have Devious Diesel himself. Okay, so I think Diesel is one of the more weirder All Engines Go characters, not because of his character design, but because of his personality. So, if you don't remember in the original Thomas and Friends series, Devious Diesel was this black diesel shunter who came to Sodor to help Duck shunt trucks, I believe. And then he got mad because his trucks broke from him, and for some reason he decided to get revenge on Duck and take out his anger on him and have him sent away, probably because he doesn't like him. That's how devious he is. And then in the close shave for Duck, Tom reveals that Diesel got sent away. But what happens? He keeps coming back. I don't know why that is. Probably because Diesel is a fan favorite. Like, I'm sure a lot of you love Diesel. I'm not gonna lie, he's not a bad character. Though, one weird thing about Diesel's personality is that he's not Thomas's rival anymore. They are now friends, which confuses me. Like, shouldn't they still be enemies? Like, I'm glad that Thomas Promise got his antagonistic behavior right, since he did cheat his way to stop Thomas from winning the race. Anyways, not to mention he has that huge forehead like Megamind. Now we have... Okay, what is now Thomas's best friend? If you don't know, Toby was actually Percy's best friend in the original series from seasons 1 through 5 or 7, I think. Like, I think Toby and Percy have been best friends, and then because of marketing cuts, like marketing stuff, they wanted to make Thomas and Percy the best friend duo instead. Which, don't get me wrong, I love that dynamic, but at the same time, these two can be a bit childish in the hit entertainment era sometimes, especially Percy, who, like, really changed for the worse. I miss how Percy was written in seasons 1 through 7. He just wasn't the same. So, yeah. Anyways, Percy doesn't look that much different. Like, he just, like, is missing his cylinders because he has no side rods. Like, his side tanks over here have been downgraded a bit to, like, be more simplified, and he has that Larry the Cucumber-esque face. But yeah, he still doesn't look too different. Like, I should probably mention the funnels are leaning back to the side as well, and they look like chimneys, like Peter Sam's drain pipe funnel, if you know what I mean. And finally, we have the best character of All Engines Go. Well, I know there are more characters. There's Gordon, there's Kenji, there's Emily, but I think the best character in my collection so far is Kana, the Streamlined engine. If you're wondering why I love Kana so much, she replaced Rebecca. Yes, no joke, she actually did replace Rebecca. So I give Kana points for that. But not only that, she reminds me of Coco from Chuggington a bit. I do like the way she is written. Like, even if she's just the Thomas version of Coco from Chuggington, I still think she's pretty cute. And I actually do like her way more than Kenji. Yes, I said it. I know most of you are going to say that you like Kenji more. I respect your opinion. I am pretty lucky that the face is able to, like, be big enough to, like, fit on this thing, and I'm not gonna lie, this was a pain in my butt to paint, because, like, I had to, like, give this thing, like, 5 or 7 coats of white paint just for this one line alone. But still, I do find it fun that Kana exists, and she replaced Rebecca. Alright, so, those are my thoughts on the Bluebird All Engines Go engines. So, overall, I don't think these guys are half bad. Like, I think I did a pretty good job with them. They actually do look a lot great. Like, they look close to their All Engines Go counterparts. Like, the wheels are pretty nice. The faces are a bit alright. Most of them are printed beautifully. Though, I think Bruno's face could have been printed out a bit more clearly, but still, I'm pretty happy with these guys. So, comment down below what your favorite All Engines Go Bluebird model is. I honestly don't think I'll do more. I probably won't do more unless you want me to. Which I highly... Okay. Whenever I get a comment asking for a character who I don't want to make, I'm usually skeptical at first, but hey, I do want to keep my fans happy, so yeah. But I want the requests to slow down a bit, because like, I want to focus more on my own characters. Like, not OC characters, but I want to make my own personal characters, like, from the actual Thomas Friends series. Because if you don't know what I was inspired by, if you don't know why I wanted to do this, like, I was inspired by the Roblox Thomas game, Tiny Tank Engines, which is a Bluebird Thomas game. And I love that game. That's one of my favorite Roblox games. So I want to give credit to Thomas Adventures for creating tiny tank engines and inspiring me to make all these fantastic Bluebird models, even if some of them are a bit unnecessary in my opinion. But anyways, I shall see you all for more Thomas Friends Bluebird reviews in the future. And if there's one character from Bluebird that you do want me to review, tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!